Hey yo, good morning, fam, and welcome back to another episode of Our Power with yours truly, Smooth Dre. Hey yo, the way things work is that I'll present with a topic and a brief description, and then you guys can jump on into the comment section to express any views you may have, start conversations, or even pose questions while we work together to keep this thing going and answer all the questions as a team. Working on building this community, y'all. So remember, hit the subscribe button, the like, and the share. All right, before we get started, I want to mention a few things. Um, if you're interested in a holistic alternative to facilitate good health, then go to akimisblend.com. That's AKEMISBLENDS.com. akimisblends.com, where you can find your herbs and vitamins based in sea moss, bladderwrack, burdock root, gel capsules and gummies, elderberry syrup, etc. Go check her out. Also, if you want that tight fit, then go to Biggie Brilly on IG. That's BIGGY BRILLY on Instagram, and he's brilliantly brilliant on Facebook. All right. All right. So let me go to the board. Say good morning. Hey, good morning, Cecilia. Good morning, Paula. How's everybody doing this morning? Um, we had a great show yesterday. The question was, can we go a whole day? Is it possible to live a normal life without telling a lie? Right. So it was an interesting show because I think most people started out a certain way, but then good morning, Keisha. But then by the end of the segment, a lot of people were kind of admitting that that it was possible that they could go a whole day without telling a lie, but then it was also possible that they might not be able to, just because of all of the the interchangeable parts throughout the day. Calling in sick. If you call in sick, you're gonna tell your boss, "Well, I want to call in sick because I want to go to the beach." You're gonna tell them I'm sick. I mean, it's so if somebody asks you, "How you doing today?" "Oh, I'm fine." When you know you got a pile of stuff you know, built up in you. You just don't want to take, you don't want to burden anybody, and you really don't want to take the time to have a conversation with this person because the person might really want to help. So you tell them, "Oh, I'm doing fine," but you're not. What about the lies that I tell to protect someone else's identity, protect them, period, and not to tell anyone's business or even my own. So it's difficult to through a whole day without lying at all. So we got that. So at the end of the show yesterday, I asked that everyone go through their day yesterday, and the minute that you came to a lie and you were telling a lie, I wanted you to smile and write it down, and then come back this morning and let me know if you lied and why. Okay, so let's see if anybody's going to admit that. All right, good morning, Greta. All right, let's see if anybody's going to admit that they told at least one lie yesterday. Nope, I don't think so. I'll look back. But we'll move on to today's topic. And today's topic is kind of like on the same wavelength, but you know, a lot of people will say up front that they don't judge other people. You know, they don't look at other people this way or that way or judge them different. But I want to challenge that today. I want to ask everyone, Can you go a whole day without judging others? And I for myself, that's kind of like the same kind of question is going throughout my whole day without telling a lie. Because if I said that I could go a whole day without judging another person, um, I would say it's possible, but unlikely. Because, when I judge another person, I'm actually sometimes judging them in order to protect myself. You know, um, I'm looking at them, if I'm walking down the street, if it's late, and then I look at a person and I'm like, okay, well, he's probably or she's probably, a danger to me or whatever. Or I might have to be more careful. Yeah, I think that's a type of judging. So it just depends on the situation, and it would be hard. It would be hard to go through a whole day without doing that. But let me see what you guys think. You think you could go through a whole day without judging another person? All right, and then once I start to get some feedback, I'll kick out some different scenarios that I came up with, and challenge you on it. All right, let's see what they're saying. Cecilia says, I told someone that they were beautiful and they aren't. LOL. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about because I posed that question yesterday, to the fellas, and I said, when she comes to you and she says, "Do I look fat in this, or how do I look in this?" What are you gonna say? And then I also flipped it on the fellas and I said, "Look, don't ask questions. Don't ask the women questions that you don't want to know." You know what I mean? Because sometimes they'll probably lie to us, just so they won't hurt our feelings. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, all right, Cecilia, kudos to you for being honest. Zero lies told yesterday. That's what Keisha says. But I stayed home alone all day too. That was the other point I was making. I said if I could stay home all day and not have any interactions with anyone else, it would be more possible. But even then, I could think of a lie and lie to myself. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I didn't do that. I didn't stay home. I had interactions with people yesterday and I told many lies yesterday. So I'm not even going to throw my hat in the ring cuz I already know. They like I said, I agree with Paula, sometimes I tell the lies just to protect some things that I don't think another person needs to know. Protect another person's identity, their well-being, their whereabouts. It just all depends, and I interact with a lot of people on a daily basis, so it's really difficult for me. All right, Paulo. She said, I told my 6-year-old that we were getting ready for Christmas and Santa Claus, and she has to keep being good to get her Oculus game. Whoa, that's right. See, I forgot about that. What about your children? You know what I mean? You better be quiet. Pops is coming, or the boogeyman gonna get whatever. It's like the kids are just poor babies. We lie to them so much at an early age. You know what I'm saying? It's just not easy. I forgot that, man. That could have been a whole different. That's a whole nother show. The children. Hmm. How many times I tell my child, um, I might tell them, it's gonna be all right. You know what I'm saying? And I'll have to reinforce that with a lot of prayer because I'll see them making decisions and I'm like, uh-oh. But I still have to let them go through what they have to go through because I can't totally protect them. But I just hope that they don't grab the iron when it's hot. They just might touch it with their tongue and just to test it maybe, but not go as far as they would have. But sometimes I tell them things and I have told them things, that were not, that I really didn't believe at the time. Not to hurt them, but to protect them, and that's another thing, to protect someone's feelings, man, that's rough. You know what I mean? Because, I have so many people that we have so many people that we care about that if they ask us certain things, the truth might hurt them and we don't want to hurt them. So, anyway, let's move on. Let's see. Necessary evils. That's right. All right. So, okay, let me see. I don't see Greta yet. Greta, did you tell any lies yesterday? All right. So let's move on to the yeah, okay, Cecilia. Um she says, "Well, where I'm at, I have no business judging anyone." Okay, and for all who don't know, I don't yeah, she doesn't mind. Cecilia is in a situation where she's somewhere getting help, okay? And she's around a lot of different women all day throughout the day, and I understand what she means. She has no business judging anyone else because they are all there for the same reasons, right? Okay, now I can only speak for myself. I've been in that same situation, and when I was there, not in the same place, but when I was in the same situation, getting treatment for my addiction, there were many people, many guys in there, and I saw some people, and I looked at them and I said, you know what? From the story that he's telling, I'm not as bad off as he is. I thought that way in some cases. Um, I also felt that some people's background and the way they were brought up were totally different from the way I was brought up. So I judged them on that level. And that was really to protect myself from who I was going to hang around, because some of these treatment facilities are just like holding cells. Everybody's there together, different personalities. So I have to look and look at different people and have discernment. That's another word for judgment, and to protect myself. Different personalities. Oh, I know my personality is like not like as aggressive as that one. So I gotta watch out for that. I mean, it's just as easy to judge as it is to tell a lie throughout the day. So that's another thing about me having to interact with so many people. It's just not easy. So I understand what Cecilia is trying to say on that note, because everybody's there for the same reason. But then what about going beyond that? So she says, "Yep, tell me about it." Okay, so this is all about opening up, different scenarios and different peeling back different layers of the onion. Because off the rip, I don't want to be a person. I want to be the person that said, "Oh, I don't judge anyone." That's the saints way of saying it, right? But man, in some cases, I have to, and I do it. I just try not to judge people and use it against them. But I will judge someone and feel like I have to stay away from them. So I don't know. And you know what? I will admit, sometimes I am totally wrong. That's why it's not good. See, judgment is not good. So there are consequences for doing it, right? So I can't stop myself from doing it, but then not all the time. But then when I do it, sometimes it'll come back with that consequence that Andre, you were wrong. This person was nothing like you thought. Now that's happened to me. If I want to be completely honest and not lie about it, right? Okay, Cecilia says some of these ladies think because they didn't do anything for drugs. Yeah, right. Okay, well, what you won't do for drugs, right? So that is that's on them. But in your head, you're like, yeah, right, they're lying, you're judging them. And hey, and you might be right. I always say this, I can't stop my initial thought. That thought that comes out, boom. But then when I judge and I don't stop that thought, the next thought is usually like, well, you know what? On certain things, I've done that same thing before, or I've been involved, or I know, because I hate people who stop at the light and the light is red and it turns green and they don't move. I've even had people sit at the light until it turned green again. And before I realize it, it's red. And I'm like, isn't that same car? And then my initial thought is like, man, what's wrong with them? But then I think back to the times when I've done the same thing. So sometimes when I judge a person, I look deep within and I find that those are the same things that I have done before. And then I'm like, well, that person could have had something on their mind like I did that day. Somebody didn't blow the horn, and lean on their horn to get me going that day, so I didn't do it to that person. But there are times when I feel like I need to judge a little bit just so that I could protect myself and I'll know how to move in certain situations. Even interviewers, employers. I have to look at them and see what kind of person they are, see what I could get away with, what I can't. It's just a lot of different reasons, but I try not to judge anyone negatively, but if the shoe fit and I think it fits in my head, then they're gonna have to wear it until I realize something different. Even if I have been that same way, if it was real negative that I had been that same way, then I would only hope that that would change in their lives, and continue to change in mine. So, yes, Cecilia says, yes, I am. Okay. All right. Okay. Greta says, no, she kept her mouth shut all day. Mm, that's another show. Do you think it's possible for Smooth Dre to keep his mouth shut all day? Mm, I don't think so. Or any of you all. I don't know. Okay, let's not do that today. But that's interesting, Greta. You didn't talk to anyone yesterday, or you just made sure you watched everything you said, and you just didn't tell any lies yesterday. You didn't go to work. You didn't see anybody. You ain't talk to your son yesterday. I don't know. All right. Keisha said, hell no. and and Cecilia said, no. Okay. Yeah, I don't know about keeping my mouth shut all day. That's near impossible. You know what I'm saying? So come on back, Greta. I want to hear how you did that for real. All right, so let's move on. Let's I'm gonna open up some things that I put down, of why, a person would judge another person or how. Do you ever look and you just do you ever look at another person and since we were on kids, right? You ever be out somewhere and you see someone with children and you see that kid doing the most, falling all over the place, doing whatever they want, and then the parent is just like, "Come on, but such and such, come on, stop doing that, blah blah blah." And then you say to yourself, "If it was me, I'd take my belt out and I'd," you know what I'm saying? Hey, all right. So if that has ever happened to you, then that is a form of judgment. Okay, and I know I can't. I'll have to just get up and walk away because I can't stand that. Because I'll be wanting to help out. You know what I mean? And that's not even my business. So but that's another way that I could get caught up and forced into a judge because, like I said, I could. It could be possible for me not to tell a lie. If I didn't have to, if there weren't like so many people on this earth. And the same thing with judgment. If there was no one to judge, who didn't give me a lot of reasons, then I wouldn't. But I have so many reasons that I can't hardly avoid it. So that is like borderline with trick question, because it's hard. So Cecilia says, if I'm quiet, something is wrong. Yeah, that's right. That's what I'm saying. So I'm taking it that like Greta is saying that she kept her mouth shut and made sure she didn't tell a lie. She kept her mouth shut in the instances where she might have told a lie. That's what I'm thinking. All right. I don't think she was quiet. Let me see. Here she comes. She says, other than go to the bathroom or on break, I stayed in my office. Okay. All right, I'm just gonna push a little bit harder, Greta. You didn't talk on the phone at all, cause I could lie on the phone. You know what I'm saying? Hello, how you doing? Oh, I'm doing all right. Boom. Cause I don't want to burden that person. I'll say I'm doing okay. And I might be doing. And put it this way, a guy explained this to me yesterday. He pointed something out that I agree with. When I say I'm doing okay, I might be doing okay to the point where I'm prayed up and I know and I have faith that I'll be okay. So when I say it, I might not really feel like it's a lie, but sometimes I'll lie just because I don't want to talk to that particular person about it. Because the next conversation, I'm like, yo, you know what happened yesterday? You know what I'm saying? I feel more comfortable. So I'll lie to somebody because I don't want to talk to them and I don't really, and I might not even trust their feedback. It's just different. It's just so many different layers to this. Okay. Nope, no phone calls. Okay, I believe her now. All right, that is the only way. Now, if I was disciplined enough not to talk to anyone or not to or in a situation where nobody would be around me, then that's possible. That is possible. And I'm taking it you didn't lie to yourself all day yesterday either. Okay. So no lies yesterday. Hmm. I can't say that. You did good. But this is a brand new day. Yeah. I know that's right. That's what Greta says. This is a brand new day. Yep. I know that's right. It's gonna be different today too. You probably gonna make up for yesterday's lies today. Cause you're gonna have to deal with people today, right? Well, hopefully not. I'm just joking. But yeah, so that's one way I could be forced into judging. I didn't hear any feedback on the children. You guys ever see anybody with children and you feel like they should be disciplining them and you're like, if that was my kid, I would do this or do that. We trying to get some feedback on this judgment. Can you go a whole day without judging another person? One thing I didn't hear today, I didn't hear everybody jump out the gate and say absolutely yes that they can. They were really careful today because I think because of yesterday's question, about the lying all day, or if you could have a normal life without lying. So you guys didn't jump out and say, "Yeah, I could do it without judging." You kind of like, thought it out a little bit before you answered, because you knew I have something, right? Some different situations, um, thought out. So come on, let me know what y'all think. I'll tell you another way. How about something as simple as career choices? I might look at another person's job and um and say that they might be doing that job because of where they came from, because of lack of education. I mean, that is like a natural thought, right? But then I could be wrong. But it doesn't mean I don't look at it like somebody's, doing something that I think is a very, very low paying job. Then I'll link that to education. I'll link that to upbringing. I'll link that to the product of his or her environment. I'll link that to, I might think that the person might have a felony. Just different things might go through my head if I'm being honest. And I just want to know if anybody else, and how, if you know that you can go through a whole day without judging, tell me how. And if you can't, then admit and let me know some different scenarios that you've gone through where you have judged a person or a situation. That's what the topic is today. Can you go through a whole day without judging another person? Let me see who else is on here. Necessary evils. Well, okay. Okay. How about judging someone when you look at, let's say, their size? They might be overweight to you or to me, and then I might say to myself, that person probably eats a lot, or I might think about like what they eat. These are just things that might pop up in my head. And then, as I said earlier, while I'm doing that, I might be totally wrong. But the judgment doesn't stop. It's like I'm going to think of these things, but then I'm going to think later, that I may be wrong. The person might be, dieting or whatever, and I may be totally wrong. But when I look at the situation, that's what I might say, and that's a form of judgment, you know. So holla back, y'all. Let me know different ways you guys may judge another person. If you go through a whole day, you think without judging another person. All right. So let's see. Paula says, "What if someone's normal life is a lie?" And not being a blatant bad person, but things like the Easter Bunny, Santa, etc. Does that excuse? Wait a minute. Does that Does that excuse the lie in the sight of God because everyone is doing it? I think lies are told to pacify either the liar or the one being lied to. It's very hard not to follow the status quo. Yes, okay, back to the lies. That was my whole point. Paula says, let me read this over. She says, what if someone's normal life is to lie? Okay, that would be called delusional. But she goes on to say, and not being a blatant bad person, but things like the Easter Bunny, Santa, etc. Does that excuse the lie in the sight of God because everyone is doing it? I think lies are told to pacify either the liar or the one being lied to. It's very hard not to follow the status quo. Okay, I get it. Some lies, I believe, are told to pacify the liar and the one who's telling it, right? I believe that. Now, when you ask, because everyone is doing it, does that make it okay? I don't know. Does that excuse the lie in the sight of God? I don't know. I don't know if God thinks that me lying and telling someone or not telling someone they don't look good in something and saving their feelings, I don't know if he feels that that's bad or not. You know, what I'm asking is um if you could live a normal life without telling a lie. Okay, either lie or don't lie. So if I'm talking about Santa and there's no Santa, that's a lie. If I'm talking about the Easter Bunny and there's no Easter Bunny, that's a lie. It doesn't mean it's not a lie just because society has set this up, as a form that which some may think is to help the economy and to get paid through it. Lying and stealing go hand in hand. And if I was to believe it in that respect, then that would be stealing because um, if you got me lying to my children and this is the time where you're selling a lot of gifts and I'm buying gifts, then that's like stealing from me. You got me set up to lie and buy and all that. That's just, I'm in the weeds now. But if I'm just sticking with lying or not lying, then no matter what the reason is, a lie is a lie. And if someone's normal life is a lie, then if my normal life is a whole lie, then I have a whole problem. I don't know what anybody else has if their life is normal and it's a whole lie, but I know if that was my life and it was a lie, then that would mean, more medication. Yeah, that would be a problem. So I'm just like, Santa, I mean, I hope kids are not watching. But Santa Claus, that's something nice to have your child believe, and it's something traditional, and it's been going on for years and years. But some families don't do that. Some families think that that is just straight line. I'm not gonna lie to my child. I'm gonna let them know that I'm the one buying the gifts, and then sometimes when the kids find out, I've never heard of a kid being actually angry with their parent for them lying to them. But then they'll know that their parents lied to them, and then some kids grow up and they say, I'm not going to do that with my children. You know what I'm saying? So a lie is a lie is a lie. God know what a lie is. I don't know how he feel about it, in certain situations. Look, if I felt like I wouldn't make it in heaven, because I lied and told someone they looked good in a dress when they really didn't, so I wouldn't hurt their feelings. Or if someone asked me if they look old and I told them no because so I wouldn't hurt their feelings, If I thought God would throw me in hell because of that, then they would be some fat dress wearing and old uh looking people. And I just have to, destroy that relationship. You know what I'm saying? But, yo, I don't know. A lie is a lie for the purpose of this podcast and that question. All right, Paula? She throws me a laughing out loud emoji. Yeah, laughing out loud. Crying laughing. All right, so let me see what Greta says. Um, Wait a minute. She says, as the old saying goes, if you have nothing good to say, then don't say anything. Yeah, easier said than done. And then Paula says, "Yep, agreed. A lie is a lie." Yeah, when I lie, I just hope for the best, man, because I know I mean well. I don't mean bad. But yo, back to Greta says, if you don't have anything good to say, don't say nothing. Yeah, that's the golden rule. Um, but uh, I don't stick to that a lot, you know, and I should. I tried though, but it ain't easy. It just depends on who the person is, I guess. So let me ask y'all. So could y'all go a whole day without judging another person? In your regular lives, um, at work, or just throughout your whole day without judging another person. Do you think that's possible? Greta says, nope. Okay, exactly. That's the same thing that's the same answer you gave for that question yesterday. That's right. Yeah, and even down to what I do for entertainment. Now, I grew up, and I'm gonna tell you the truth. I got this rap thing, I'm doing or whatever. But growing up, I think I may have gone out like I may have gone out to like three clubs. You know what I'm saying? And through college, through the military, I went out a little more. So, but when I grow up now, um, and I've done that, been there and done that. Why, when I know other people are going to clubs and they're partying and enjoying their lives, why do I look at them and I judge them? And I always say, and then I listen to their music and I judge it. It's like, yo, they don't make music like the 90s music like what we made, and it may be true, but I'm still judging it. You know, they don't dress like we used to, but these are the same things that my parents were saying about my generation. How we were crazy and our music wasn't music. They had the best music. So so here I am doing the same thing. So it's real easy to judge another. All right. Paula says judgment is just like beauty. It's in the eye of the beholder. Hmm. Good point. But yeah. So yeah, it's definitely in my eye because when I'm out there, I'm looking at everything and I'm sizing everything up. I don't know, and I don't know if just because of growing up in Brooklyn, I had to be on alert at all times. It's just a different feeling. So I'm a product of my environment. I judge everything for my safety, you know, and I'm not making an excuse. I'm just admitting that I probably can't go through a whole day without doing it. And that's the topic. That's the question. I probably can't, and I'll just admit that. Unless I consciously gave it a try. But even if when I look at a situation, when I look at someone standing outside of a store, I'm judging that person like, oh, if he's standing out there, then he's probably panhandling. It's just a lot. I don't know. I don't know if it's possible. I know it's not possible for me unless I don't know what I have to do. But I just want to know if you think it's possible for you. Greta says, because you may not say it, but if you're thinking it, it's no different. Exactly. And if I see it, then I'm going to think it. I can change my thought, right? Or I could have my thought changed for me later when I find out that it wasn't what I thought. And that happens a lot, but I still cannot take a chance on not thinking and judging to protect myself in that instance because what if I'm wrong? I mean, what if I'm right? What if I'm not wrong and it doesn't turn out like I thought it would? Well, let me say it again. I can't stop my initial thought because that's the thought that protects me. Okay? That first judgment of another person. Okay? And I'm saying sometimes it turns out not like I thought, but I can't stop that initial protection thought, which is judgment. Because what if it is what I think? So Paula says, I've been judged and I have been judged. I've seen people's ideal of me change after getting to know me, and I have done likewise. I practice not judging, but I still may stand accused of it. Yeah, well, I get you. I understand what you're saying too. And I don't doubt that. That just means that you figured it out, right? Um, I do judge. I practice not judging, but I still may stand accused of it. Mm. Okay, let me unpack that. What I feel. Um, I try to practice not judging, but whew, that's 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 kind of difficult. Change the other gets to know me, and I have done likewise. Well, I try to practice not judging, but it doesn't come until the initial judgment is made. Like I'll think and I'll judge something a certain way, and then I'll say, you know what, it's probably not even like I think it is, and I'll pull back the judgment. But I can't stop that initial thought. Like how could I not judge or practice like not judging if I don't initially judge? I have to think it before I can fix it. I don't walk around with just this blank stare in my brain on everything and everybody, everything that's going on. I have different mental pictures, and every picture that I take of every moving part that I see in my life when I'm moving, anything that's coming to me, oh, they made this turn. Where did they get their license from? They can't drive. Like anything, like it's boom, 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 boom. So it's like an onslaught. But to judge in a way where um it puts a person in a bad light, to judge a person negatively or harshly, or to just be mean, I have been guilty of those things, but I try not to practice judgment in that way. I try to practice, well, I try not to practice judgment anyway, but the judgment that I find myself practicing these days are the judgments that I make in order to protect myself and my family. And that's the way I see it. I don't try to judge in a way where I'm looking at a person and I'm thinking negative of them unless they show something that's glaring, and that's something else. But I try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. But when I'm out in the street and I don't know nobody and I'm just moving, I'm judging everything because I have to pick that lane that's safe. That's the safest lane for me to travel down, the safest path, for me to go down. So let's see. Okay, Paula says, I see your point on the initial thought. Yeah, that it's sort of like this. That guy looks like he's dangerous. But maybe he's not. It's like the going up. I'm thinking this way, but then I'm like, you know what? He could not even be like that. You know what? She looks like this, but she could not even be like that. That initial thought, me looking at it, something pops in my head. Something does, and it's judgment, straight up. Whatever I look at, even if I look at something and say, "Hey, that looks nice," that's judging it. Yup. So that's like a trick question. Let me see what else I wrote. Oh, how about okay? Paula says working in the community requires less judgment as possible. It's hard but necessary in order to be a benefit. Exactly, because judgment could be definitely for good. Because how will you know? Like sometimes you might have 3 bags left of food, right, on a giveaway, right? And some people run up. Now somebody might come up with all fresh gear on, looking fresh, and then you got 3 other homeless people, people who look like they may be struggling a little bit, but you only got 3 bags. But the person who's dressed all like that comes up and asks for a bag. My initial thought is like, I'm going to give these 3 to them because they look this way. But you know what? That person who's dressed down like that could just be covering up some pain and might have gotten some clothes or whatever, but they may be struggling more than them. So I don't know. But those are the things that I say when I judge, in the from the beginning, sometimes it'll come around and show me why it wasn't a good idea to judge because it'll show me God will show me that I was wrong. You know what I'm saying? So I hear you with that, and that's another way. That's another issue out in the community. It takes it. But how many times have I been wrong? I remember one day I picked up we were doing a giveaway in Selma, and I picked up this young lady. Have a blessed, safe, have a safe and blessed day, Greta says. Thank you, Greta. Thanks for tuning in. Talk to you later. Thanks. So I picked this young lady up. She had 3 children, right? And I brought her out to the event. We had a what do we call it? A cleanup day, right? We picked some people up, some people who perceived to be homeless from a soup kitchen there in Selma, the Ebonite Missions. And we brought them over to the hotel where we had rented like 4 hotel rooms, 2 for women, 2 for men. And The women were escorted upstairs. They were able to take showers. When they came out, they were able to discard their underclothes, undergarments that they had on, and pick out fresh undergarments and toiletries and pick three outfits. We had clothes all over, the bed and the dresser, laid out for them to pick, shoes and everything. And so the young lady had three boys, and we were also giving out haircuts. The boys got haircuts. She got her hair done. Got three outfits for everybody: fresh gear, fresh underclothes, toiletries, and then went back downstairs, and they were able to eat, and bring some food with them. And when I had picked them up on the street, okay, because they were trying to walk to where we were, and it was real far. So I picked them up on the street, and so when I'm taking them back, she's telling me to make this left and make this right, and so I'm watching it. Then I'm looking, I'm going out of a neighborhood and going into like some not wooded area, but just some abandoned looking area near the train tracks. And so she says, make this left, and I make a left around the corner, and when I take her to her home, she has no running water, no electricity, no nothing, right? And so at that point, I felt like um, I needed to go back and get more clothes and more food and bring to her, right? That was a judgment call from what I saw. And then, you know, I looked to work with the city to see, if she could get some stuff turned on, because that's like, that was like but it was out of my hands, but I did pass the information on to the people who could help, you know what I mean? And but that broke me. That day I had never seen anything like that, and that broke me, but that judgment that I made, and I made a judgment call, because everyone was specified, no matter what, they would get a certain amount because everyone had to have. But this person needed more than the average person, and she ended up getting much more than the average person did. So judgment could be good too, you know, but it's necessary, I believe. In everyday life, it is necessary, and it really cannot be stopped. It can't be prevented, because, as like I said, Paula, and you agreed, that initial thought can't stop that, but then you can settle down into, you know, rational thinking, or whatever kind of thinking that you'll bring into play to kind of like get away from just harsh judgment. Because I tend to want to give a person a break after, if I judge them hard. I'm like, well, I hope he's not like that, or I hope they're not like that. But this is how they present, and this is what I'm used to. This is the pattern, you know. Well, let me go to the board. Let me see, Paula. Everyone, okay, okay, Paula. Yeah, I see you. Yeah, so they could be okay. There you go. She says they could be worse off. Right. That's my point exactly. And then so we make a call to, we ask God for discernment, right? So I turn judgment, which sounds like more of an ugly word than discernment. Okay, but it's really the same thing, I think. I'll check that, but I think it's like the same thing. But I ask God to do that for me every day, and I try not to, as I said, judge people in a negative light, but um, judgment is necessary. You know, it just is. When we grew up having our little slang. We say word, and you're heard, and all these different things. And we had some people who spoke pig Latin, you know, just different languages, right? Different communications, different languages, different dialects. And I'm going with that, but then let's talk about how we have people who have foreign, dialects and um and when I hear them, right away I'm judging. Like when I hear these young kids talking this stuff, like, no cap and this and that, I'll take it and I'll put it in a rap, to try to, be like a little more modern, but that's my business, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, like when they give too much of it, like I have a nephew, sometimes he'll say a whole two sentences and I won't know nothing. And I'll have to play it off, and then I'll think about it and I'll piece it together because the language is different from when I was. And then I'll think, I'm like, man, they can't even talk. But that's their thing. We were looked at the same way when I was growing up. But even with communication styles, I will judge another person. It's not easy. It's just too many things. Let me see. Paula says judgment is just like, okay, yeah, I read that earlier. Yeah, so it's crazy. It's like I can't escape that, but I can do it in a good way. I could do it in a terrible way, and I try to do it, like I said, in a positive manner. And if I do go negative with it, I usually will think about it again, and I will back off of that total negativity because in all actuality, I really don't know. I don't really know. I just know what my initial thought tells me, and I pray. When I'm thinking to protect myself and my family, that's what I'm doing. To If I'm doing that to do that, then I have more faith in that than I do me just saying, "Oh, from the way that person sounds, they must be this or they must be that," because that's just straight judging. So that's a difference to me. There is a difference, straight judging. But when I want to protect myself or my family, then I will call that discernment, because I have more faith that that will be what I believe it is, more so than me just judging someone because of how they dress, or how they speak, or how they look, or how they treat their children, or all those other superficial things, that I'll just judge off the top, that might not be anything that shapes that person. That person might not even be what I think. A lot of times they're not when I'm judging in that way. But when I'm asking God for discernment to protect me and my family, I believe that He shows me that that was a good idea, because when I ask Him for that, that's the time He's going to show me who He is. And that's what I tell people. I'm like, yo, when is God, when you ask God for something, what better time is there for Him to show up and show you who He is, to continue to build your faith in Him? So yeah, when I ask for that discernment, it shows up. All right, look, great show. Thank you for tuning in and participating. um y'all have a wonderful day, right? Paula Cecilia says everyone have a wonderful day. um Check this out. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. All right. Like it and share it with others. If you dig what's going on, then share it. All right. Thank you. And we will see you right here tomorrow at 6 a.m. on Our Power with yours truly, Smooth Dre. And y'all have a beautiful day. One.